Hello and welcome to FIA Pure Motorsport. On this week's episode, we introduce you to the creator of the Bergmonster VW Golf Rally TFSI. We'll have great Formula Regional action from the Ardennes roller coaster, and we'll show you the best first step into cross-country rallying, and much, much more from the FIA world of motorsport. The legendary Spa-Francorchamps circuit is the venue for the 7th stop of the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. In the forest of the Ardennes, the battle for the top spot in the overall series standings is heating up, with the top 5 drivers within a 58-point gap. After 6 races, Dino Beganovic leads in the overall standings with 180 points. Thanks to great performances in the last races, Gabriel Mini has cut the Swede's lead to 9 points. Paul Aragon is third with 152 points. In the first race, the 2 leaders in the overall standings are on the front row. Dino Beganovic on the left, Gabriel Mini on the right. Beganovic with a great start, but Mini immediately puts on the pressure. The 2 leaders already pull away in Eau Rouge. Gabriel Mini is now right behind Beganovic and uses the slipstream on the camel straight back to attack. The Italian enters the corner slightly ahead of Beganovic, but he's too fast and has to drive over the curbs. Beganovic takes the lead again, while Sebastian Montoya goes off track for the second time. This time, the young Colombian falls back quite a few places. 18-year-old Frenchman Sami Miguentunif is in great form in his orange MP Motorsport car. He has a race-long duel with Paul Aragon, and in the 12th lap finally manages to overtake the Estonian with a nice maneuver to move up to 3rd place. Edoardo Barrichello also passes Aragon and manages to keep the Prima Racing driver behind him. So Aragon, one of the title favorites who started in 3rd place, drops back to 5th. Then disaster strikes. Mini, lying in 2nd place, drops out with a flat tire. However, a spin by Victor Bernier of FA Racing in Les Combes on the 14th and final lap leads to a red flag. Dino Beganovic wins a race for the first time since Monaco. Sami Miguentunif finishes 2nd and achieves his best result in Formula Regional. So does Edoardo Barrichello. The Brazilian finishes 3rd and makes it onto the podium for the first time. In the second race this weekend, Paul Aragon in the red and white race car and Hadrien David are on the front row. Both turn into the first corner parallel with each other. Further back in the field, there are several accidents. Through Eau Rouge, Aragon leads the field with David in 2nd, followed by Dino Beganovic and Gabriel Bortoleto. On the camel straight, David attacks the leader, Paul Aragon, and passes him at the end of the straight. The problem for David, at this point, the safety car was already on track due to the accidents, and that will play a role later. While David pulls away and Paul Aragon falls back, Bortoleto attacks Beganovic. The Brazilian is successful and takes over 2nd position. Meanwhile, Edoardo Barrichello overtakes Tim Tramnitz to advance to 5th place. After a spin by Piotr Wisnicki, the race ends behind the safety car. Hadrien David crosses the finish line first, but victory is awarded to Gabriel Bortoleto only once the engines have been switched off, as he crosses the line in 2nd. He's crowned the winner following the penalty imposed on teammate Hadrien David for overtaking Paul Aragon under safety car conditions. This maneuver relegated the French driver to the 2nd position. Dino Beganovic completes his good weekend with another podium finish. The Swede extends his lead in the overall standings. He's now 41 points ahead of Gabriel Mini. Paul Aragon reduces the gap to the Frenchman to 3 points. Karl Schagerl can also drive casually up a mountain, but this is how the 43-year-old Austrian prefers to drive. His VW Golf Rally TFSI is a car that causes a stir even in the hill climb camp. In hill climb racing, we talk about the Berg Monster, 815 horsepower, 820 Newton meters, and weighing in at only 970 kilograms. A racing car that is faster than the mountain can call. For Karl Schagerl, it all started with a Golf Rally that he bought in 2000. Since his apprenticeship at VW, he has had a special relationship with this brand. Karl became a master mechanic with his own dealership and garage, and his Golf Rally evolved with him.
Ich glaube auch den Vorteil, oder ich zumindest als Fahrer,
I think I have the advantage as a driver that I've always made the best possible use of the engine power right from the start. Sometimes I drove against competitors who had 600, 700, and 800 horsepower. But we were always really in a good position. We drove a good line. That's how we slowly grew, the whole team and me as a driver too, of course. And that's why it's not an extreme challenge.
Und darum ist das jetzt gar nicht so eine extreme Herausforderung. Also, bevor wir die 800 PS gehabt haben, hat man schon irgendwo gedacht, na, auf der Geraden ein bisschen was könnte ich da noch brauchen und da und da und dann natürlich.
Before we had 800 horsepower, we always thought that we could use a bit more. And then you study again over the winter where you can get even more out of it. Now we have a performance that we said 5 years ago would never be possible. That's impossible to drive, but now it's possible. Together with the tuners, we've made it possible to drive with this much power.
Und dass so viel Leistung trotzdem gut fahrbar ist.
Of course, this is also down to the driver.
Ja, ich würde eher sagen, dass ich
Yeah, I'm not someone who risks everything. I tend to drive tactically, memorize the route well.
vielleicht die Strecke gut einträgt, einmal ein bisschen langsam probieren das Training und dann schauen, was möglich ist.
In training, I start slowly, and then I see what's possible, and then try to be fast.
Das letzte Hemd riskiert, aber man muss jetzt immer schnell unterwegs sein.
His Golf is a custom build, and together with his team, who are just as motorsport mad as he is, they work countless hours to improve his car.
Und wenn wir das Auto in der Werkstatt haben,
when the car is in our garage, we think about what we can do. And the guys who work in the background are then the most important.
Das sind dann die wichtigsten Personen eigentlich.
Karl was crowned Austrian national mountain champion 7 times in a row and set countless course records. He is now competing in his first season in the FIA European Hill Climb Championship, a new challenge.
Neue Fahrer kennenlernen, neue Strecken.
I get to know new drivers, new routes, and new places. That's important. The competition is only on the track. In the paddock, the drivers help each other. We're very enthusiastic so far.
Immer im Vordergrund gestanden, also wir sind sehr begeistert bis jetzt.
The track in Limanowa is also new for him. The first reconnaissance trips are made in a normal road car.
Teilweise gibt es die Strecken schon am Simulator. Da kann man sich natürlich.
There are many tracks already in the simulator, so of course you can prepare well. But Limanowa is not available for the simulator. That's why we watched videos.
Die Strecke gibt. Also da haben wir das mit Videos gemacht. Das ist einmal die erste Kurve.
This is the first curve. We know from the other drivers that the asphalt is very slippery here.
Das haben wir schon von Fahrerkollegen gehört, bevor wir überhaupt einmal da gefahren sind, das erste Mal da gewesen sind.
With a production car, you feel it when you brake harder or go faster through a bend. It's really much more slippery than the other tracks.
Es ist wirklich um einiges rutschiger als sämtliche andere Asphaltbeschaffenheiten.
And it's precisely on such slippery tracks that the tires matter, because power is nothing without control, and in hill climb races the tires must have special capabilities.
Ja, das ist bei Hillclimb-Reifen ist natürlich ganz besonders, wir fahren weg.
Especially in hill climb, we drive away with cold tires. That means they have to work cold too. We're not allowed to heat the tires. The tires must have optimal grip regardless of whether the track is 4 or 8 kilometers long. Of course, this is not an easy task for the tire manufacturer. At Avon, there are many different compounds, and we've tried a lot and are very well equipped with Avon.
Und sind da sehr gut aufgestellt mit Avon.
For Karl Schagerl, things are going very well in his first year. He's dominating the Group 1 vehicles, and for the overall title in the closed car category, he is in a neck-and-neck race with Vasily Yaksik. When asked about his motorsports dream, he only answers,
Nein, ich muss ehrlich sagen, mittendrin.
I have to be honest, I'm in the middle of it. And he won't be leaving anytime soon. The sixth round of the FIA European Hill Climb Championships takes place in Limanowa, Poland. Limanowa lies 75 kilometers southeast of Krakow. The route of the race is 5,493 meters long and known for its slippery asphalt and the passionate fans. The Polish fans love hill climb races, and the Polish drivers often know how to use their home advantage. This weekend, however, the weather played a major role. While the practice runs could be completed in sunny and dry conditions, the drivers had to make the difficult decision on the decisive day: slick tires or rain tires. In Category 2, the competition cars, the reigning champion Christian Merli also dominates the current season. In the overall standing, he's 30 points ahead of Peter Trenke. Alexander Hin follows in third place. Germany's Alexander Hin in the Osella FA30 Zytek drove the demanding track in Poland for the first time. He caused quite a stir with the third fastest overall time, especially in the dry first race day. In the wet second race in difficult conditions, he didn't take any unnecessary risks and achieved the fourth fastest time. All in all, Alexander Hin finishing in a very good third place. The victory in this category was decided between the two best pilots, Peter Trenke against Christian Merli. Trenke drove to the second best time in the first run and put in a good second run in difficult conditions. With the best time, he moved into first place. But Christian Merli still had to go for it. He showed his dominance on the dry asphalt in the first run. He was the only driver to stay under 2 minutes and was almost 7 seconds faster than Trenke. In his Osella FA30, he took no risks in run 2. In the end, he was 2 seconds slower than Trenke, but the cushion from race 1 gave him the victory in Category 2. To illustrate the conditions of the second race, Merli was almost 26 seconds slower than in the first race. The overall standings has not changed after the race weekend in Limanowa. Merli leads in front of Trenke and then Hin. The title fight for Category 1, the closed cars, is a neck-and-neck race. Vasily Yaksik leads in the overall standings just ahead of Karl Schagerl. Antonino Migliolo is third. Of course, the duel between the two drivers fighting for the overall victory was the focus of the weekend. But all the drivers had to struggle with the weather, which was getting worse by the minute on Sunday. The order was shaken up once again. Karl Schagerl had set the fourth best time in the first race, but in the decisive race, he was one of the last on track and moved down the leaderboard in the rainy, wet weather of Limanowa. Only 17th place for the Austrian in the end, 10th place overall. His toughest competitor, Vasily Yaksik, finished 1 place ahead of him. The Montenegrin can thus extend his lead in the overall standings. The Italian Antonino Migliolo had been only 7th after the first race, but caught relatively good road conditions in the second race and managed the second best time, 3rd place overall for him. However, the victory in Limanowa in Category 1 was decided by 2 Polish drivers. Dubai achieved the 3rd best time twice in his Mitsubishi Lancer Evo. That was enough for 2nd place. Karl Krupa in his Skoda Fabia CT Proto had already achieved the 2nd best time in the first race. In the second race, he was one of the last drivers to reach the finish line on an almost dry track. He's 5 seconds faster than Dubai and thus pushes past his compatriot into first place. In the overall standings, Vasily Yaksik was able to extend his lead over Karl Schagerl. Antonino Migliolo's good result brings him a little closer to the 2 leaders. The 6th stop of the FIA European Autocross Championships took place in Toldjik in the Netherlands. It was also the 2nd stop of the FIA Cross Car Academy Trophy. The young talents showed a great final. In the end, Spain's Miguel Galloso Vasquez was successful. After a 2nd place at the first stop, he also takes the lead in the overall standings. In the junior buggies this season, the Czech Arnost Florian is the outstanding driver. In the Netherlands, he celebrated his 5th victory in the 6th race. His compatriot Daniel Pitloon came in 2nd. Local hero Toyn van Asten completed the podium. Kevin Peters from Luxembourg dominated in the final of the Buggy 1600 category. He celebrates his third victory in the last 4 races without being challenged. Bart van der Putten had to admit defeat in front of his home crowd. Jakub Novotny was third, and with this success, Peters further extends his lead in the overall standings. Peter Nikodem from the Czech Republic celebrated his next success in the Super Buggies and extended his lead in the overall standings. Radek Jordak completed a double success for the Czech Republic. Erwin Grenches drove his orange buggy from 7th to 3rd place, an impressive performance. The 4th stop of the ADAC Formula 4 at Nürburgring saw the duel between championship leader Kimi Antonelli in the red and white car and Taylor Barnard in the first 2 races. The 18-year-old British driver claimed his first victory in ADAC Formula 4 in the first race of the weekend. Antonelli finished in 2nd position. Both drivers had a great duel in the second race as well. Once again, Barnard was able to win by a narrow margin. In the last race of the weekend, James Wharton succeeded. His Prima Racing teammate Conrad Laursen finished 2nd. Kimi Antonelli tried everything to finish 3rd, but was again narrowly beaten by Taylor Barnard. Over the last 10 years, the look of the bivouac at cross-country events has changed. SSVs, or side-by-side vehicles, are more and more present. This year, for example, more than 100 SSVs took part in the Dakar Rally for the first time. 2 side-by-side categories are eligible for the FIA Cross-Country Baja Cups, T3s and T4s. T3s are lightweight prototype cross-country vehicles, and T4s are modified production SSVs.
They're great, they're a lot of fun to drive, and they're great for getting into the sport, I think. For me, I felt very comfortable during the Dakar in the T3 because I knew I could trust the car to go in a lot of places that I could see the T2s. They would have to calculate where they were going, how they would take the angles because of the weight of the car. You know, it's so heavy. And the T1s also, they had to think about their route more than me. The T3 was easy to manage relative to the other cars.
Kees Koelen has already participated in every category of the Dakar Rally, from motorbikes to quads and trucks. Now he drives a T4 vehicle.
I think the main thing is that it is very easy. The car is too good. It means if you're in the dunes, it's very difficult to get stuck. So the car is so good that you can concentrate on going from the bike or the quad to the car and learn to drive the car. And if you behave, you will finish every race. So you can concentrate on learning to ride. And that's what is very important, because if you want to be a good rally rider, you need to have the technique first.
SSVs are not only smoothing out the learning curve, but also coming at a lower cost. This makes it easier to get into the sport. Patricia Pita Gago was the first female rally driver in Uruguay. Now she's trying to make the switch to cross-country rallies in a T4.
I think it's amazing. For example, in cross-country, we are seeing a lot of women. I think it's because this car allows us like more easy budgets. So I think it's amazing to see women in cross-country because it's always like it inspires our other women to come to motorsport, and I think that is really important. The most amazing thing is the suspension. This car goes through a lot of things that a rally car doesn't. Now, for example, the jumps yesterday, with Alba, my co-driver, she's also a rally co-driver, no? So for both of us, it's all new. And in the jumps, in the test, the first ones, we were both of us. If we came here in a rally car, we would already have died, you know. And with this one, ooh, and the next one, a little bit faster, ooh, and they don't move. They're like, toop, toop. I was like, that's amazing, really fun.
Fun for drivers and co-drivers. As the name suggests, the two sit next to each other. The co-pilot has the roadbook on his side and the GPS transmitter, which shows the race organizers whether the team is hitting the waypoints and keeping to the speed limits. The maximum speed for T3s and T4s is limited to 135 kilometers and 125 kilometers respectively. The team is protected by a safety cage. Safety is a top priority. All vehicles must be fitted with the compulsory safety items. The fuel tank with 130 liters max is under the driver's seat. All SSVs have to be equipped with harnesses and an extinguishing system. The good thing, you can have fun and be successful. Last February, Saudi Arabia's Saleh Al Saif became the first ever driver of a T3 lightweight prototype vehicle to win an international FIA Baja event when he and his Russian co-driver Igor Okotnikov guided their Can-Am Maverick X3 to victory at the Jordan Baja. No wonder the latest FIA Baja categories are becoming more and more popular. Round 4 of the FIA World Cup for cross-country Bajas is the 38th edition of the Baja España Aragon. It's in its 9th consecutive year, and the event in Teruel is once again breaking records. The 2-day, 3 selective sections event attracted as many as 92 FIA entry crews. 4-time Dakar winner Nasser Al Attiyah, reigning champion of the Baja Aragon, will once again be one of the favorites. This edition of the Baja España Aragon passes through 3 regions, Teruel, Hiloca, and Albarracin, where drivers will find a wide variety of terrain from winding roads to unpaved areas. On day 1, the participants must complete 2 selective sections. A total of 435 kilometers lie ahead of the crews. The biggest rival of Nasser Al Attiyah and Mathieu Boimel is the Saudi Yazid Al Raji with his English co-driver Michael Orr, who recently won the Italian Baja. The unlucky one on the first day was Eric van Loon. The Dutchman lost the chance of a top position when he flooded his Hilux's engine during a muddy water crossing on Saturday afternoon. He finished day 1 in 62nd position, already 4 hours 44 minutes behind the leader. The biggest surprise on the first day was the Brazilian Lucas Moraes. Together with his co-driver Kaique Bentivoglio, he left experienced rally drivers like Sebastian Halpern and Krzysztof Holovczyk in their X-Raid Minis behind. In their new Toyota Hilux T1 Plus, they have a great first day in only their second World Cup race, and despite their lack of experience, move up to 3rd place, just 34 seconds behind World Cup leader Yazid Al Raji, who can be satisfied with a 2nd place after day 1, but not with the gap he has to his biggest rival, Nasser Al Attiyah. The Qatari dominated the first day of the Baja Aragon and won both selective stages with co-driver Mathieu Boimel. After 435 completed kilometers, he enters day 2 with a 5-minute lead.
Yeah, it's a good day for us, and I am quite happy, to win all the stage in morning and then afternoon. Now we have 5-minute lead, and it's make better for tomorrow. But like what I say, it's a new car, T1 Plus. First time we run here in Baja, but it's really good. We find a lot of things interesting. This is also a good step, for next race. But okay, I'm really quite happy, and yeah, my favorite race, and today's was not easy, very tough.
Leg 2 on Sunday is 160 kilometers long. The 2 Brazilians in the Toyota Hilux duplicate their good performance from the previous day. They set the second fastest time of the leg and increase the pressure on the second place Yazid Al Raji and Michael Orr. But the experienced team reacts confidently. They're the fastest team on Sunday and win the second leg with 2 minutes and 37 seconds ahead of the Brazilians, but it's not enough for the overall win. Nasser Al Attiyah and Mathieu Boimel don't take any risks and manage their lead. In his latest specification, Toyota Gazoo Racing Hilux, Al Attiyah wins the Baja Aragon by 3 minutes 2 seconds ahead of Yazid Al Raji. This success was his 5th on the event since 2008.
I'm really quite happy, to win again here, and 5 times, in Baja Aragon. It's really nice race, and also, to see all the spectator everywhere in the stage is amazing, For me, it's one of the best Baja in the world.
With his second place finish, Yazid Al-Raji extends his lead in the championship. Miroslav Zaplatel is 27 points back. Saleh Al-Saif is in third position. That's it for today. On our next episode of FIA Pure Motorsport, we present successful women in motorsports. We'll enjoy the long gravel roads of Finland with the historic rally teams, and we'll follow the Autocross Championship to Prerov. Till next time, take care everybody and ciao.